One of the questions I asked at my audience is, what is one of your biggest obstacles with your physical health? And I got a couple responses, so thank you so much. And I thought I would take those and deep dive into some of them, if that's all right with you. And I wanted to start with consistency. This is something that I really resonated with because this was a struggle for me for so long. And I feel like I was able to make such a big turn with this in the last 2 years. And I wanted to share my 3 steps that really made a difference. And I want this to be a little bit interactive. So if you maybe hit pause real quick, grab a notepad. I love these like sticky post-its. I'm a little bit obsessed with post-its, but grab a notepad, grab a pen, and that way we can do this together and we can start taking some action steps and give you some things to think about ASAP. All right, so let's dive in. I want to start off just giving you a little bit more context. I've had different times in my life where I've struggled with it not being consistent, but this one in particular was about 2 years ago. My partner and I did RV life, and we were just living this dream that I've always wanted. I used to drool every time I saw RVs go by me. I've been chipping away at the national parks. I try to do one a year. That was always the goal, and the goal is to hit all of them. But I had this dream of maybe just for a chunk of time getting an RV and going across the whole country and visiting them. About 2 years ago, this dream became a reality, and we did it. I sold my house, bought a Class C motorhome, and we set out for about 8 months, started from Florida and traveled the US counterclockwise. A little bit of dabbling into Canada. It was absolutely incredible. So, with that, there were some things that I didn't quite expect. I guess I was just so excited about the mission, but totally makes sense. What do you think? Was one of the first things that was so different that can be very helpful is having a routine. And it's definitely really hard to get a routine if you're moving every 1 to 3 days like we were. Yeah. As we were going further west, I was still training. I was working remote. I was training my clients. So as we got further west, I was getting up earlier and earlier. I was getting up around 3 a.m. and training clients from 4 to 7 and whatnot. So that made it a little bit hard to get into a routine. We were hiking all the parks, which was awesome, but like strength work, mobility work, that was a hard no. It's just, I didn't have the capacity. And I want to do other videos on decision fatigue because that's a real thing. Took everything I had to pack up the RV every time we had to leave. We had to set it up, put it away. I was training my clients, so I was making sure that their programming was spot on, but I just didn't really have anything left to program for myself. So I got in a little bit of a slump and I was trying to get myself out of it. This is what I really leaned into and utilized to be able to break that. I think who this is for, I've got my entrepreneurs like myself, my coaches, and my realtors. We have different schedules, and that can make it really challenging to kind of lock in a routine, especially when it comes to your own health and trying to schedule time for that. It's usually one of the first things to go. This could also be for my 9 to 5ers or whatnot. I'm going to talk into leaning into curiosity to figure out what time of the day is best for you. And it's different for everyone. Now, you can look up when's the best time of the day to work out. And, my response is whatever time you will do it. No joke. That's the best time. Now, maybe there's some studies saying the mornings are better. And sure, however, I could do a whole video on people that say I am not a morning person. Again, if we keep telling ourselves that, then that's what it is. But that's not what today's video is. So that's my answer to what time is the best workout. For people that are coming off a dry spell and looking to get started again into being consistent with workouts, I've got you. So let's get started. Okay. All right. Grab that pen and paper. Go ahead. And I want you to write down step number 1 is we're going to pick the lowest barrier to entry. So what I mean by that is we're going to make a decision. All right. So is the lowest barrier of entry doing something at home? All right. So if that's the case, we just want to make that decision. We are making 3 decisions now so that we don't have to keep making these decisions every single day. Because again, decision to fatigue cognitive load. Those are real things, and those will keep us from achieving our goals. So I want you to decide now. For some people, maybe staying home, there's too many distractions, family, stuff like that. So your decision is, okay, am I going to a gym? Do I have a gym membership? And if you're like, yes, like I need to get out of the house, cool. Then that's your decision. If that's not an option for you, then maybe it's just simply going outside, finding a space in your backyard, inside of your house, in the neighborhood park. I want you to make a decision and I want you to write it down. So, step number one, what is it for you? I got a little sweet setup over here. I've got a home gym. All right, that's going to be home. I'm just going to do this with you. All right. Step number two. Now, while I was at RV life, while I was living the dream, again, it took me about 4 months to get here. Now, when I went to RV life, I was, oh man, this is going to be amazing. I'm going to be traveling. I'm going to be in the best shape of my life. I'm going to be this, that, have all these goals. And what I didn't realize was just because of the constant movement, the so many decisions that we had to make daily, I just didn't have the capacity to put a workout together. This is what I do for a living. I actually love training and I was struggling to be consistent and actually do these things. So just cut yourself some slack if you're, oh, I can't believe like this is where I'm at. This happens all the time. I hear you and it's okay. You're not alone. We're going to try this and I hope this is really going to work for you. And if it doesn't, I'm going to talk to that too with leaning into curiosity. This is what I did. So I had a lot going on and I had to decide what is the amount of time that just feels like a no, like I can do that. For me, I decided 10 minutes. Like I can do 10 minutes a day. And I also picked 28 days. So that was about 4 weeks. If I can do 10 minutes a day for 28 days, then I will build momentum and get out of this slump that I was in. So that was it for me. Now, for some of you, 10 minutes might feel like, whew, that's a lot. And I get it. And there's no judgment. That's fine. So maybe for some of you, it's 5. Maybe for some of you, it's 3. Okay. That's okay. Because really what we want to do is have these small wins and build momentum. Now, so for me, 10 minutes for 28 days. I recommend try going for a month. Don't try going 6 months or 3 months. Let's start smaller and make a quick decision. What's your gut tell you that feels like I can do that? And real quick, the benefit for that is there are some days that you are going to do the 10 minutes and you're like, oh man, like I feel better. I didn't really want to do this, but the 10 minutes feels good. So I'm going to do a little bit more. And that's really what happened some of the days. I did more. Now, some days I did not want to do those 10 minutes. So I just said to myself, okay, Lisa, just 10 minutes. You just have to do your 10 minutes. All right. Now, go ahead, pick your time, pick your duration. I recommend 28 days, about a month, and write that down. Now, for me, I do love checking things off. And there's a lot of, so we actually, I had this really cool national parks calendar. It was hanging up, looked really good. I loved it. So I went ahead and wrote my challenge on it because I got little dopamine hits every time I crossed off that I did it. Some of you have a habit tracker app. Those are awesome. Have a calendar on your computer. Cool. Maybe jot that down. What calendar you want to use to track. Okay. Number 3, I would say, now again, I do a lot of programming. That's what I do for a living for people. But to program for myself, it wasn't in me. So I picked a program. I decided to go, for me, it was core. That was the loop. I was hiking, I was getting outside, but I was like, I'm going to pick a 10-minute core work. I have someone that I'm a fan of. So I signed up, I paid for her program because as a coach, I am happy to learn from other coaches, to pay for other programs. It's odd. That's another video on how I think most of the money I spend is on coaching and certifications and seminars. I love it. It's so good. I just love seeing what people are up to. But anyway, so I digress. So follow a program. That's the third decision because now you made 3 big decisions. Okay. So step 1, you picked where you're going to do it. Step 2, we picked for how long and for how many days and like how you're going to track it. And then step 3, pick something that you can follow along. Now, maybe that's a video, maybe it's a program sent to your phone, Maybe it's sent to your emails. I don't know. Maybe it's something you print out, PDF, and you just want to be off your phone. I get that too. There's so many options so that you can decide what works best for you. Now, I picked a core program. Sometimes I squeezed in between the table and our little sofa. I had literally enough room for me, and I'd be on the floor when on the days that the weather was bad and I couldn't go outside. And that was one of the reasons I picked that. I had to think about what I had access to. Didn't have much equipment. It was all body weight and it kept me going. Now, what happened from that? This is the cool part. This is super cool. At the time, I was only hiking. Now, I'm a kind of person, I love doing different things. I've done triathlon. I started from sprints and out of curiosity, I'm like, can I do the next one, which is an Olympic distance? Can I do the next one? Now, I like, just side note, I grew up playing sports. I love playing sports. I hated running. No joke. I played softball in high school and our coach was a runner and she made us run a mile every single day before practice. And we had to run this loop at the park. And I was always one of the last ones. Like for 4 years, I was one of the last ones. Running is not my jam. I have an athletic build, muscular. My legs are like tree trunks. They're heavy. They just don't like to run fast. So the fact that I had this idea when I graduated from college and I was looking for something to get into that I didn't need a team for, because it's harder to find a group of people once you're past college to all be able to coordinate schedules at the same time. So that's what got me into triathlon and tennis. So the fact that I was like, "Hey, let me try this triathlon. There's 3 events, swim, bike, run." And again, I just leaned into curiosity and I chipped away. Now, that was a long time ago. I took a break. Then I did a marathon. Then I did an Ironman in 2016. And so it's 2025, and the last long distance run I had at the time when I decided to do this was in 2019, just before the pandemic. I did a lot of lean into more hiking since the pandemic, which I've done some super cool hikes, and those are challenging too. For now, I completed the 10 minutes of core and I started to feel more like myself. Now, whoever's watching, have you, especially if you've been an athlete, if you play sports, if you've taken a break from working out, if that was part of your identity, man, you don't feel like yourself. You don't feel as confident. You don't feel as great in your clothes. There's this whole cycle of what happens when you get out of a routine and it's not fun. It doesn't feel good. So those 28 days were these quick wins. Now, I got the momentum. I stayed consistent. And I was like, you know what? What if I put 2 days a week of running for 10 minutes? So that's what I did. But I hadn't run in a while. So I started off with a 1 minute run, a 1 minute walk, and I did 10 rounds, right? Twice a week. And I built momentum and I was out there and I didn't know. Sometimes when you're especially on the road, you don't know where things are. And it's weird running in different neighborhoods and a little sketchy sometimes, but I did it. Now, this was towards the end of our V life. So we got back to Florida. We sold the RV and now we're back home and that was cool. But I got back to Florida and I was like, okay, I did the 30 days. Now I'm still doing core work. Now I'm incorporating running. What else makes me feel like, what do I love to do? Now, for me, I'm also a big Spartan race fan. I love obstacle course races. So there was one in May. And I talked to my friends from Tampa. I was like, hey guys, there's this race. I can get us free tickets. Do you guys want to do it? And I got some pushback, no joke, but we did it. Now, it was in May in Florida, and I haven't lived in Florida. I've been living in Connecticut for 15 years. The heat in Florida, guys, it starts in May. I thought it was June. No, it's in May. That's just mean. It's so humid. We signed up for this race. It was not too far off from like Mother's Day. Our time slot was 12 p.m. But anyways, we did it. We were running up and down Raymond J Stadiums. Go Bucks! In the heat of the day, it was brutal. My friends were cursing me out. It was amazing. We accomplished it. We did it together. There was a handful of us. It felt so amazing. And believe it or not, they want to do it again this year, which was so cool because I'm pretty sure I thought they wanted to kill me. Now, it's one of my favorite things. I love it when I'm just like, oh, you can do this. This is your true potential. You can do it if you have this like hope of like dream of doing something. That's all you need. Okay. I can't make you do something you don't want to do. But if you like want to do something and don't know how you're going to get there, I'm your person. But anyway, so we finished the Spartan race and I'm like, okay, I'm feeling more like myself. Now that was hard. And I struggled. I was going up burpees and crawling. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so out of shape. It was depressing, but it was humbling at the same time. So after that, I'm in Orlando and I was like, okay, like what else? And I encourage you guys too, when you're looking to be consistent with something, you have don't pick running if you absolutely hate running. People ask me, what's the best way to get in shape? Should I run? I'm like, okay, same answer. Whatever you pick something that you actually like doing somewhat. You don't have to love it. Not everyone is as crazy as I am, but pick something that you somewhat enjoy because you will stick with it. I know people that decide they want to get in shape, so they go straight for a full marathon and they absolutely hate running. What do you think is going to happen? You're just going to keep hating it. It's going to make harder. And eventually, you're not going to get there. And that's when you start to be like, I don't follow through on things. I'm not consistent. I can't do this. And then it's such a detriment because there's so many things out there. And that's the beauty of the time we're in right now. Maybe you're a class person. There's a class for everything, right? And maybe it's dancing. I was a CrossFit coach for 6 years. I love the community. F45, there's boutiques. Just Google, see what's around. Maybe in your neighborhood or community. There's clubs. I just joined a pickleball club where I live. It's awesome. So see what it is and just start there. I just want to full circle. So I'm back in Orlando because of that 4 week, 10-minute core challenge that inspired me to run twice a week. I'm talking about run walks, which inspired me to sign up for a Spartan race. All right. Which then inspired me to be like, what's one other thing that I've always wanted to do? Now, the plan's to go back up north because I do love the seasons. Shh, don't tell my Florida friends. But what's something I always want to do in Orlando? And that's actually run the Walt Disney Marathon. Now, when I was 16 years old, I was doing a lot of volunteering. I was trying to make my college transcripts look really good. So I was volunteering and everything. And I volunteered for the Senior Olympics, and that's a whole nother story. And that was so cool. What? This is what's possible at 80 years old? That's where the Age Strong Project came into place. But one of the other things I did was volunteer for the Walt Disney Marathon as a water girl. And I remember being 16, I got up at 3 a.m. and drove at the time 40 minutes to hand out water. And I thought these people were crazy. Oh my God, who would do this? Some people ran barefoot too. That's insane. And then as I came to get into long distance running, only because I was curious on what I could do when I decided I wanted to do something. Not because I love running, but I didn't hate it. So again, don't pick anything you hate. And I actually came to enjoy it. So I was sitting in this couch behind me and I was like, oh, I wonder when the registration is. Now, for those of you who don't know, Run Disney, these races sell out within minutes. They're so popular. It's a whole thing with Disney fanatics. And so I just happened to find out that the next week was a sign up. I'm like, what? That's insane. So I got on the phone and I texted a friend of mine who has run it before. I said, give me the tips. Let me know what I need to do to get on registration and hack it. So we have 3 computers. My partner Yvonne, she was on a computer. I was on a computer. And we got in. She was trying to get in as well, just to get a spot for me, just in case. But she didn't really want to run it. So I talked to my friend John. A shout out to John from Lakeland. He always wanted to run a marathon in Disney, but just didn't know if he could. And I said, John, I'm in Florida this year. I will help you. We will do it. I'll give you a plan. We'll do it together. And so he said yes. And we both ran the Walt Disney Marathon this past January. Checked off a bucket list. He cried. I cried. It was emotional. It was incredible. Disney sure knows how to throw a race, even though we have to be there at 3 a.m. A little rough. Still, Disney, I salute you. That was a pretty fun race. So all of that, guys, again, from me deciding when I was on RV life, 10 minutes, 28 days, I had a program, I built consistency, I built momentum. Now, so what I will say for you guys, you have your list, right? I hope you wrote that down. Maybe you don't know what program you want to do. Maybe I would say, look, what's a loophole? What's something that you either, if you're not doing anything, maybe that's walking. Maybe it's just walking for 10 minutes. That's fine too. Okay. But you already made the decision what it was, and you're not making that decision every single time. If you're an athlete and you're playing sports, maybe you're like, ah, you know what? I know I hear Elisa talking about mobility all the time. Maybe I should do her 28-day mobility program. I hear she's doing an accountability group. starting Monday the 24th. Maybe I should do that. Maybe then do that. Maybe you do some stretching and mobility work, but your strength work, not so much. Or maybe you pick up core work programs. So, what is something that you can enjoy or is a loophole in your programming? And you can plug in and then see what happens from there. Like I just talked you through my journey of starting here, which ended to doing Spartan race, which got me doing the Walt Disney Marathon. I was not planning on running a marathon. Well, I guess technically this year was January. It wasn't even on my radar. I always tell people we like sometimes I need to lose 30 pounds and I need to do this and I have these big goals. And it's great to have big goals, but we got to chunk them down. We got to go smaller. We got to zoom in and be like, what can I do for this month? I'm a huge fan of the 12-week year. That's one of my favorite personal development books. And just, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is the 12-week goal and breaking it down. So I hope you found this super helpful. You don't need to wait for this perfect moment. Just start with what's doable. Like it's the last thing I will say. One of the things I do daily, and this is just an extra thing, every day I write down what are my three top tasks. I have a journal, it's a high performance. I'm a huge Brendan Burchard fan. Any Brendan fans? What? So, what are the three tasks that I want to get done today? I used to have those to do lists, like 20, 30 things, and I would pick out the easiest things to check off because I love checking things off. And then the most important things, the things that were the needle movers, those kept getting pushed, pushed, and pushed. And then all of a sudden, before I knew it, I just never got around to them. So now all I do is I pick three things, right? The things that are like really the most important, if I get them done and there's more time, I'll add more. If I don't have time, I got them done. Sweet. I'll have some downtime. Okay, that's what I struggle with too. Some white space just to relax. It's a little harder when you're an entrepreneur. And then I do 3 weekly goals. What are the 3 things that I must get done this week? Now, within those things, this could be a whole lot of training, but I looked at them every day. So it's important to be intentional. And I think that really helps with consistency. So take this post-it, put it on your bathroom mirror, on your desk, by your computer. It helps to look at this every day to stay consistent. It helps to have a program. It helps to have a system to get that momentum going. And lastly, I promise this is the last thing. Stop telling yourself that you're not consistent. And I say this because that was my narrative. I would say, oh, I'm just not consistent. I'm not consistent. I said it all the time. And you're telling your subconscious that. You don't want to be reinforcing that. And I just remember when that clicked, when I just realized, man, I'm writing out my own narrative that I'm not consistent. I don't follow through. I don't finish things. Yeah, it makes sense why I'm not following through and finishing things. I keep repeating that. So it's not helping you. You're doing yourself a disservice. So just take that narrative and switch it. All right. I am consistent. I can do what I set out to do. And maybe write that down on a sheet of paper, like I am consistent, and say that to yourself every day. Okay. Whoop, all right. So that was a little long, but I hope you got a lot out of it. Thank you guys so much. Please leave a comment if you want me to deep dive into another topic on things that maybe get in the way of you taking care of your physical health, whether it's time, whether it's the people you live with, maybe it's your own mindset. I love talking about that too. I've been in the personal development world for about a decade, so I have a lot to talk to there. So thank you guys so much. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you guys next time.